I was 7 years old when I found out about my HIV status. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Motivated to Live. Thank you for clicking on this video. As you can tell by the title, I am going to be talking about my HIV status. I had some of my friends send me questions. I have a total of 14 questions, and I'm going to be answering them today. How did you avoid passing HIV to your partner/child? I do have a 7-year-old son. He's going to be 8 next month, and he is HIV negative. He does not have HIV at all. Now, the answer to that question, how did I avoid passing HIV to my partner or to my child, is because I am on my medication. So there is research that has been done now to prove that if your virus is undetectable, then it is untransmittable. U equals U. So that just means that if you are taking your medication and you are doing what you need to do to keep your virus suppressed, then it's not likely for you to pass HIV on to someone else. So yeah, with my son as well as any part, right now I am single, but with any partners that I've had and as well as my child, I take care of myself, and that's how I protect others, by taking care of myself. Number 2, what's the difference between AIDS and HIV? Good question, because one of the questions that I got actually did use the word AIDS, but that's okay, no hard feelings. That is okay. There is a difference between AIDS and HIV. So AIDS, well, I'll start with HIV. HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus. AIDS is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, I think. So basically, HIV is a virus that gets into your immune system and it attacks your immune system. It compromises your immune system. It makes it harder for you to be able to fight off other types of viruses or things like that, unless you are on your antiviral medication, and that keeps you able to have a healthy immune system. Now, AIDS, on the other hand, AIDS is a syndrome, meaning that when the HIV virus has gotten so advanced that your immune system is no longer able to protect your body, what happens is you start to develop many different syndromes, many different things that happen. Your body is basically slowly shutting down. So that's what AIDS is. AIDS is a little bit more advanced than HIV. AIDS is when you are dealing with other things, such as, like, for example, my mother did die from AIDS. She had AIDS. She ended up acquiring kidney disease, pneumonia, different things like that, and that's what AIDS means. It just means that your immune system is now so compromised that you are susceptible to many different other things. Okay, so number three, we have 14 questions, you guys. So number 3, you don't look like you got HIV, so how would we know? That's a good question. Thank you, friend. You know who you are. Thank you, friend. Okay, I don't look like I have HIV, so how would other people know? You won't know. That's the point. You won't know. You are relying on my honesty and my moral integrity to disclose my status. You would not know by looking at me, and that is why this disease has spread so rapidly around the world, because people do not know by looking at you. You have to get tested. That's the answer. That's the answer. You will not know. You won't know. You gotta get tested. So yeah. Number 4, what is the best way to disclose information without judgment, or how do you deal with others' outlook on you when you disclose your status? Okay, that's a good one. the best way to disclose without judgment. You can't control someone else's judgment and how they judge you. So there really is no way for you to disclose without receiving judgment. People are going to judge you regardless, whether you have HIV or not. People are just going to judge you. That's just the way the world works. Now, I have found that when I disclose my status, I get a better response depending on the way I give it. So when I was younger and I was struggling with my status and I was struggling to accept my status, when I would tell someone, it would be like a very big secret. It would be a very big deal. I would probably get emotional, start crying, and just looking at them and hoping that they accept me. I would disclose the status and just kind of have this fear. Like, I know you could just see it looking at me. I would just be so afraid that when I tell this person, are they going to accept me or what's going to happen? But now, since I'm a little bit older, I'm okay with myself. I am who I am. When I disclose my status, I am disclosing my status with information. And I'm also disclosing my status with confidence in myself as well. So when you do that, people receive you well. Because what can you do? You can't shame me. You can't make me feel bad, because I have already accepted my status and I have accepted myself. So, you know, when I give that to you like that, that's on you if you're going to judge. And if you do, that's fine. That is okay with me. That helps to weed out the people that don't need to be in my life. How do you deal with others' outlook on you when you disclose? Yeah, how do I deal with it? As an adult, everybody who I have disclosed to has accepted it and has embraced me with no problem. But as a child, that was a little bit different. And it hurt a lot. But through therapy, through God, through support from love and family, I've been able to get through that. But yeah, my advice to anyone would just be to accept yourself. It really doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. When I decided that I was going to become public with my status, what I said to myself to make myself comfortable with that is that whether I tell you or not, I still have it. So the choice is, am I going to live in silence and just be ashamed, embarrassed, worrying if somebody's going to find out, always on edge, anxious, wondering if are they going to find out when people come over, I have my pills out, are they going to see it? I just didn't want to live like that anymore. So, I mean, whether you know or not, I do have it, so it just doesn't matter to me. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's there. I have it. I gotta deal with it. All right, so question number 5 is asking, how do you deal with taking medication when you do not feel sick? Okay, that is a good question, because taking medication is something that I hate. I really hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like taking medicine. I do not like taking it. I hate it. It has side effects. It makes me nauseous. I don't like it. And that's been a struggle from birth, from childhood. From childhood on, I have struggled to take my medicine. The problem is when you struggle to take your medicine and you don't take it the way you are supposed to take it, is you become resistant to it. When you stop taking the medicine the way you are supposed to take it, your HIV becomes resistant to that particular medicine. So that's not okay. You never want to do that. I admittedly say that has been a struggle for me. Even before the pandemic started. We've been in the pandemic for about 2 years now. And when the pandemic first started, a little bit before that, I was going through a lot of changes in life, a lot of things, and I was just depressed, really. I was depressed. I was just not there mentally. So I was not taking my medicine. We call that a holiday. I took a holiday. And I hadn't taken it for a while. So when the pandemic started, I was very scared because I wasn't undetectable anymore. I was out of that range. So how do I deal with taking medicine? I just know that it's something that I have to do. I have a son to take care of. I have things to do. I have responsibilities. So even when I don't want to do it, even when I hate it, guys, I really hate it. I hate it. It makes me so emotional. I don't like it. But you gotta do what you gotta do. That's just a part of life. Especially adulthood. When you grow up, you realize that you have to do things that you just have to do, even if you don't want to do it. So that's how I deal with that. Just take it. Just take it. Number 6, what is a gift that your status has given you? What is a gift that your HIV status has given you? So my answer to that question would be the gift that my HIV status has given me is kind of like the gift of discernment. When I disclose my status, not everybody knows how to deal with that. Not everybody knows how to handle me once I've given them that information. So the people who do not know how to handle me, they go. The people who do, they stay. So that's my gift. That is my gift. HIV has given me the gift of being able to decipher who's there for me and who's not there for me, who loves me and who does not love me. Now, sometimes that process is a little longer than others. Sometimes I may have someone around me and I believe they love me, they care for me, but when people get mad, they say things. And there are people in my life who have been in my life for decades and who love me. And we have gotten into arguments, they have gotten mad at me, and they have never gone there. They have never said anything about my HIV status. On the other hand, there are people who say they love me, act like they love me, and then they get upset, and the first thing they do is talk about my HIV status, which would have nothing to do with whatever we're arguing about, but that shows me their true character. That shows me their heart. That shows me what they really think of me and how they really feel of me. So yeah, my status has given me the gift of just being able to weed out people who don't need to be in my life. I don't want to deal with you. Bye. So yeah, that's my gift. Number 7, how does living with HIV affect your everyday life? Okay, how does living with HIV affect my everyday life? I kind of want to say it doesn't, because I mean, I feel normal and it's okay. However, like I just said, a part of my everyday life with HIV is taking medicine. And also a part of my everyday life of taking medicine is side effects as well. So my everyday journey of living with HIV varies. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down, some days I'm just coasting and just along for the ride. I feel like I'm not answering this question well, but HIV doesn't necessarily affect my everyday life. It's really just the mental aspect of it, the mental of being like, man, I really hate that I have this. I don't want to have this anymore. I wish I did not have to deal with this. And then sometimes reflecting back on my mom and dad and, you know, just not being okay with my life circumstances. So that's how I would say it affects my everyday life. It's not like I'm just sick all the time or anything like that, but there are times where, like I said, I have nausea or something like that. There are times where I get very sad and depressed because of my status and what comes with that. As far as everyday living, you know, dating, you have to disclose when you're dealing with that. Yeah, just have a lot more responsibilities as far as just being healthy, taking care of yourself. Now that your immune system is compromised, you have to make sure that you're doing the things you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Now I can't say I'm the best at that, but I'm working on it. It's a daily practice. So yeah, it just affects my everyday life by just pushing me to continue to take care of myself, I guess. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is asking me, what is a helpful tip you would tell another person with HIV? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I would give tips. But one thing I definitely would say is to find a way to accept yourself and to love yourself. Figure that out. First and foremost, before anything, find a way to just accept what has happened. Whether you were born with it, you contracted it, whatever happened, you have to find a way to make peace with that. Because now this is you. This is who you are. So you can't change it. You just have to be at peace with who you are. That would be my first advice. Find a way to just make peace with it and to love who you are regardless of your status. Second thing, I'm gonna give you three. I'll give you three. Well, no, the question is, what is a helpful tip? That's one. My helpful tip is to find a way to be at peace with what's going on with you and to accept it and to love yourself. Figure that out. Number 9, what age did you find out about your HIV status? Okay, that's a good one. It's a good one. I'm gonna see if I can pull up this picture. All right, question number 9 asks, at what age did I find out about my HIV status? Now, this is a story that I tell in my book. It's actually how I open up my book. This story is also on my blog, so I'll post that link so that you can go and visit that and read that. But I was 7 years old when I found out about my HIV status, which crazy, that's the age my son is right now. So I look at him and I just see where he is, and I just think back to where I was as far as just being that innocent child, just your child. Like, and now you have to take in all of this information. And at that time, I was born in the 90s, so at that time there was a lot of stigma surrounding HIV. Nowadays we don't really hear about HIV and AIDS anymore, but at that time there was a lot of stigma surrounding that. So to be a 7-year-old child and to find out, and the way I found out was through the newspaper. It was public. My grandmother was celebrating my sister. She did an interview with the local paper, and they did an interview about my sister for her accomplishments, and my grandmother did the interview and disclosed what had happened. So, and while celebrating my sister, they included, oh, her mother also died from AIDS, and her sister, her little 7-year-old sister, is living with HIV. Now, I don't know why that had anything to do with my sister and what she was accomplishing, but the adults around at the time felt like that was a good story to tell, so they told it, and that was horrible. That was horrible to disclose somebody's HIV status publicly in the newspaper, especially a child. And since I have gone to school and I've studied journalism, I know that it's actually illegal to put a child, a minor's name in HIV status in a public newspaper. That's crazy. You can't do things like that. But it happened. It happened. It was terrible. It was really terrible. I was very depressed after that, and I went through a lot of stuff. But this question only asked me how old I was, so I'm not gonna get into that. Follow me, subscribe to my channel, and you will get to hear more about my story. Buy my book. It's not published yet, but we're gonna get there. When it is, I will have that up here available to you as well. Subscribe to my blog, and yeah, you can get to know more about me. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next question. Okay, number 10. What did you find out? How did you find out you had AIDS? Okay, I don't have AIDS, I do have HIV. How did I find out? I just told you guys how I found out. I found out in the newspaper. Number 11, do you always tell the guys you're interested in that you have AIDS? Do not have AIDS, I have HIV. But do I always tell the guys that I'm interested in that I have HIV? It depends. It depends. I don't have to disclose my status to anyone unless I am sexually involved with them. So if we are dating and I'm not having sex with you, I don't have to tell you that. So it just depends. Most of the time, anybody who I have dated and dealt with knows my status because I'm public. It's not a secret. I talk about it on my social media. I talk about it all the time. Everybody who's in my life knows that I'm always talking about my HIV status. It's not a secret. So yeah, anybody who I have dated, I tell them. When I say it depends, I'm saying if it's just someone like I'm getting to know you, I don't really know you like that, I won't just lead with that. And then with that being said, maybe things will just dwindle away and nothing comes of that. That's fine. But if we are continuing a relationship and we're getting to know each other, then yes, they're definitely going to find out about my HIV status because it's not a secret. I don't live in secrecy. It's not a secret. Question. What is the next question? Number 12. We are on question number 12. We have just 3 more questions left. 12, 13, and 14. 3 more questions. Okay. Number 12, what is the difference between living with HIV as a child versus living with HIV as an adult? There is a big difference. There is a big difference, only because as a child, I didn't know myself. Like, you don't know who you are as a child. You're discovering, you're trying to figure it out. And then you add a highly stigmatized disease on top of that. That makes it very hard. So as a child, I was just depressed, suicidal, angry, bad, troublemaker. I got kicked out of school, expelled, arrested. I was just going through a lot. I was just going through a lot. I mean, it was hard. It was hard. It was just a lot to do, especially middle school. Middle school was the hardest time of my life. Hardest time of my life. Moment of silence for the little girl that had to live through all of that. Yeah. As a child, it was terrible. I hated it, and it was just very hard. I didn't think I was going to make it to 29 years old. I didn't think I was going to make it. I hated it. Yeah. As an adult, living with HIV is a little bit different because now I am very happy to say that I know who I am. I'm okay with who I am, and I love who I am. I'm okay with that. Sometimes I have my days, but I'm in therapy. We process that, we talk through that, and we move right along. But yeah, some days I do have my days where, like, for example, if things don't go my way, I may start to snowball everything together and say, okay, this situation didn't go my way. It's because I was born with HIV and my mom died and my life is terrible, you know? So sometimes I could do that and let my mind go into this rabbit hole of just darkness and dark thoughts. But thank God for therapy and prayer and family and support because they help all those things help me to be able to pull myself out of that that thinking, that negative thinking. Because in reality, I am okay. I'm okay. But my thoughts can sometimes get me to feeling like I'm not okay and feeling like I'm less than, or, you know, something is wrong with me. But it's not. So yeah, as a child, I mean, as a child versus an adult, I would say as an adult, I'm able to process things better. I have the tools to be able to process my emotions and my challenges in life versus as a child where I had no clue what was going on and I was just emotional, just reacting off of everything and ruining my life. I was just doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, as an adult, I'm good. I'm good. Number 13, what was your lowest point when facing HIV? Number 13, what was your lowest point when facing HIV? I don't know. I really do not know the answer to that question because my lowest point, as I've said before, I would say as a child, just my whole childhood, that was the hardest time in life for me to deal with my status. I would say my lowest point in life was when I was leaving, well, in an abusive relationship and also leaving that abusive relationship. And that's also something that I have publicly spoken about, and I'll include the link to that article that I wrote about. I did write an article for, I believe it's Positively Aware magazine. I will put the link here, and I talked about the abusive relationship that I was in for about 3 years, and that was terrible. That was my lowest point in life. Now, that's separate from HIV, but it all goes together, you know, because like I just said, when I go through something such as an abusive boyfriend, it's easy to think that that is because of my status. It's easy to think that this person is abusing me because I'm HIV positive. This person is abusing me because I deserve to be treated that way, because I'm less than them, because I have a disease. I'm not, you know, whatever. But those are all negative, false thoughts. That's not true at all. But that was a very low point for me. So I guess that would be the lowest point as far as facing HIV. Just being in a relationship with someone who made me feel as though he was doing me a favor by accepting my HIV status, and that him cheating on me and abusing me and putting his hands on me was just something that I had to deal with because he accepted my HIV status. Yeah, I would say that was my lowest point with HIV. Just, yeah, accepting stuff that I didn't need to accept. Number 14, this is the last question. This question says, what would you tell the little girl in you that is still healing from the trauma of living with HIV? Or what do you wish someone had said to you as a little girl when you first found out? Okay. I love that question. Thank you, sister. That's one of my best friends who wrote that question as well. What would I tell the little girl? And what do I wish someone had told me? Well, what I would tell the little girl, the little version of me, is something that people told me when I was a child. People told me this all the time, but I didn't believe them. When I was a child, people told me I was beautiful. They told me that my HIV status was not going to stand in the way of me having a normal life, but I did not believe them, because the people who told me that were doctors, social workers, my grandmother, yeah. So I didn't believe them because, one, you have to tell me that you're an adult, and two, because the only other, well, I can't say that. I'll say the reason why I didn't believe them is because my mother had died from HIV. So I felt like I got it from my mother died, so how can you tell me that my status is not going to end my life prematurely? So I didn't believe it. But what I would say to my younger self is, first of all, I love you. You are beautiful. You are perfect the way you are. And I would say to you, don't, how do I want to say this? I want to say that it is not surprising for people to love you even though you have HIV. So don't see people accepting your HIV as, oh, now this person loves me. This person, you know, don't take it too seriously just because someone accepts your status. Someone can accept your status and then a few months later call you an AIDS infected bitch, like he did, which is in my article that I wrote, you will see. So yeah, just because they accept your status, don't just fall in love with that. So I'm gonna rephrase that, give this answer a little better. What would I say to my younger self? What I would say to my younger self is, you are going to be able to live an extraordinary life regardless of your HIV status. You now believe that your HIV status is going to hold you back from being able to find love, from being able to be in genuine, open, and honest friendships, but that is not the case. Your HIV status will not be a hindrance to you. You can use your status to tell your story, inspire others, and to empower yourself. It does not have to be a hindrance to you, and it will not be a hindrance to you. That's what I would say. That's what I would tell myself, that you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You are going to be just fine. Thank you to my lovely friends who sent me these questions. I love you all so much, so much. I hope everyone watching enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please press the like button. If you want to stick around and learn more about me, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any more questions, comment below. And also share with your friends. Share this video so that we can get more traction and get more views and everything. I want to get my channel up. And as I said, my goal is to ultimately be an author and a public speaker. That is my ultimate goal. So I want to go ahead and get some subscribers, get some traction on my channel so we can start pushing those things out and getting that there. Thank you all. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye.